vote at Rocky River Church Road. Back to the studio.
All right, thank you, Chuck. So North Carolina's upcoming identification requirement to vote is now on trial. A federal judge hearing testimony from residents worried whether they will be able to get the ID needed to cast ballots in person. Several recorded video depositions combined with a live witness testifying that the voter ID law will harm Black and Latino voters more than white voters. They argue the law was enacted to intentionally discriminate, violating the Constitution and the U.S. Voting Rights Act. Here today to break down the trial and what the ruling could mean for the upcoming primaries is attorney Matt Fleischman. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
So we should say also this is a case that is going on trial both federally and at the state level. Break down what that means for our viewers.
So there's a federal case that's currently pending in federal court, and there's also a state case pending in state court that's on hold while the federal case is going forward. The federal case is focusing on the federal law under the Voting Rights Act for discrimination, and the state case is focusing on the North Carolina Constitution and the eligibility to vote.
And whether or not that should be, in other words, saying that the state constitution does not now include that, this would be something that would be added into our state constitution that doesn't currently exist.
That's exactly right. So the North Carolina Constitution basically has very limited requirements for voting. You have to be over the age of 18, you have to be a resident of North Carolina, and you can't be a felon, a current felon. The argument from the plaintiffs in that case is that by adding in a photo ID requirement, you're actually adding something that the North Carolina Constitution doesn't allow. That's the state case. The federal case is focusing on the discrimination aspect of the voting, of this new law requiring photo ID.
So how do you prove discrimination in a court case like this? What are they going to be looking to do?
So a lot of times the judges are looking for statistics. You're looking for just direct evidence of discrimination and the inability to vote because of these laws. And so you'll have a number of witnesses that will testify. You'll have scientists, statisticians, etc. One of the main arguments from the plaintiffs is there really is no evidence of voter fraud. The argument from the states in these types of cases is there is some evidence, and it only takes one. And the argument is that you're making it harder to defraud the system.
Here we said there in the intro, but I just want to repeat also, the plaintiffs here are arguing that this will harm Black and Latino voters more than it will white voters, and they say it will do this even now with the exceptions that were approved last summer. Can you break down those exceptions, what they were, what else has been added here?
Sure. So the law originally, as was constituted, basically required some form of photo ID, a government-issued photo ID. What the exception allowed for was basically to say if you had a hardship in getting one of these IDs, you can make a declaration about that hardship to allow you to cast a provisional ballot. That came in 2015, and in my opinion is going to make it hard for the plaintiffs to win at this point. As far as what the judge is going to do with it, that I couldn't say.
And you say you think this is going to take a while. The actual trial maybe a week or two, but then when you include the appeals process, who knows?
You're going to know who won the Super Bowl before you know who won this, most likely. And even if the judge makes a ruling, this will get appealed up to the higher courts regardless.
Matt Fleischman, appreciate the insight. It sounds like you'll be back to talk about this one at another time.
Look forward to it.
All right, so speaking of the Super Bowl, hey, this is one of the largest races in Charlotte. You've got some time to get ready for it because we are talking about the Super Run 4-miler on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll give you the details and introduce you to the people in charge up ahead.